senior year, somebody pulled the most evil school prank anyone has ever seen. It started during first period in math class. Dead quiet, the teachers were writing notes on the board, and out of nowhere, faintly, you heard Baby Shark song. What is that? The whole class looks up, the teacher stops writing. Whoever's playing that, turn it off! Then the music cuts off and everyone's confused for a second. Then 10 minutes later it happens again. But it's louder this time. Yo, what's going on? This time, it wouldn't stop. The song was on repeat. People are laughing, the teachers are losing their minds, and the staff is looking for where this is coming from. Nobody could find it. And then a little bit later, it gets worse. The song is playing everywhere. It's obviously coming from multiple different speakers. In the science room, in the bathrooms, above the cafeteria, and every single speaker is synced together. And it disrupts the entire school day because kids can't focus, teachers can't teach. Every time they find one speaker, the other ones get louder. Apparently, the seniors had hidden these Bluetooth speakers in ceiling tiles, nooks, crannies behind lockers. There was even one in the trophy case. It took almost 3 full hours to find each and every one of them. Let's just say every single student and teacher in that school had Baby Shark stuck in their head for at least a month after that. That, my friends, is genius. This teacher had a candy tax. So one of my subscribers sent me the story. It was period 1 teacher. No food, no drinks allowed, unless it was a water bottle with a lid. But candy? Candy was allowed, with a catch. If you bring candy, I get a cut. And he meant it. There was a jar on his desk. It was a big glass jar and it was labeled candy tax. So if you had candy, you would walk in, here you go, you would put a few candies in the jar, sit down, and you were free to eat your candy openly throughout the class. Payment received, my boy, payment received. But if he caught you eating candy without giving him the tax first, he would walk over, I didn't see you pay the tax, young man. Here, too late. It's all mine now. And he would take all the candy you had. For the most part, all the students respected this rule. And honestly, so do I. Gotta pay the candy tax. Oh my god, my farms! This was back in the Facebook game era. This kid's mom was completely addicted to Farmville. She'd wake up in the morning, pour herself a cup of coffee, and immediately it was farming time. Harvest, 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 plant. My farm is looking great. This mom was also kind of a helicopter parent, so she would monitor her kids' activity online as well, which meant she had her kids' Facebook passwords. But more than monitoring their activity, she was also playing Farmville on their accounts. Basically a whole digital farming empire. All of my farms are doing amazing. She took it way too seriously. I'm not sure if any of you remember this or your parents, but Farmville meant business back in the day. One day the kids get grounded for some bogus reason, and the son, he's mad. I'm mad! He wants payback, so he's sitting in his room and he's thinking to himself, what does she love the most? Her farms. So one night, he logs into his Facebook, and he intentionally sabotages everything in his farm. Then he goes on the family computer. His mom's already logged in. He goes to her precious farm and completely sabotages everything there as well. Selling, deleting, harvesting too early. The next morning, he hears it. He's still in his bed. From downstairs, he hears the yelling. What happened to my farm? What happened to all my farms? Panic and fast-clicking mouse noises filled the air. She spends the whole day absolutely furious, talking about hackers, emailing Facebook. She never put 2 and 2 together that her son probably did this, but he knew, and it made him so happy. That's what you get, Mom. There was a kid in class that never talked, always sitting by himself staring ahead. One day, the kid next to him is trying to be friendly, and he noticed he's got a headphone in underneath his hat. Hey man, what you listening to? Maybe it was music, maybe it was a podcast, he doesn't know. Kid slowly pulls out one earbud and hands it over. Okay, it's weird, but the kid takes it, puts it in his own ear. Oh, you want me to listen? Okay. At first, he thinks it's broken. Then he hears it. 481, 482. It's just some guy's voice. Counting. Kid then pulls out his phone and shows him. The video on his phone said, British guy counting to 5,000. Oh, nice, man. Why do you listen to this stuff? And all the kid said to him was, none of your freaking business, bro. 496. That is so weird. It's first grade and this kid's at a school assembly. The whole school is there. It's a very small school, kindergarten through 12th grade. And it's some educational assembly, like the frickin' Wiggles, trying to get students to learn in fun ways. Actors singing and dancing, they're trying way too hard to make learning look fun. And that's a rhombus. Well, this kid is barely paying attention. Because the night before this, he was watching Spider-Man cartoons, and he was thinking about an episode. So he's half asleep when one of the actors asks, all right, students, who sailed the ocean blue in 1492? Well, this kid's friend elbows him. He's messing with him. Hey, bro, she called on you. Oh. So he raises his hand.
Okay.
She says, okay, what's the answer?
What's the question?
Who sailed the ocean blue in 1492? And instead of actually thinking about it, he said the first thing that comes to his mind.
Norman Virgil Osborne.
No. Dead silence. Everyone's confused. Then one of the older kids says, did he just answer that question with the Green Goblin? That's hilarious! And then suddenly the entire school starts cheering him on. They push him down to the middle of the gym and they tell him to dance. Dance! 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 They're chanting. The kid has no idea what to do, so he just busts a move. It was horrible. He was embarrassed and he left the gym. But honestly, that sounds like an awesome assembly. Who knows what tabletopping is? When I was in school, tabletopping was this kind of dangerous thing where you would get on your hands and knees behind somebody and your friend would push them down over you. Okay, I'm not recommending it, but this one school got a brand new teacher fresh out of college. It was literally his first week there, but he looked like a 16-year-old. What's up? I'm Mr. Johnson. So one day during passing period, he's walking through the hallways carrying his bag. And on this particular day, this group of kids were going around tabletopping people. So they figured, hey, that's a student, let's tabletop him. Yo, next victim. Perfect. So these goofballs decide to go for it. One of them gets in front of him and says, hey, what's up, bro? Hey. While the other gets behind him on all fours, and he pushes. He falls down, and he breaks his arm, and that's when the students can see his staff badge. Bro, that's a teacher! What? I could have sworn I was a freshman! Teacher is screaming, his arm is broken in half. Office gets called. These kids literally get suspended. They were almost expelled. But that poor teacher, he was actually bullied for that entire year. That's just not right. This kid's taking a math test one day when something falls out of her pencil case. The teacher sees the piece of paper on the ground. Oh, Stacy, I saw that. Pick up that paper and go to the office. No cheating in my class. No, I wasn't cheating. Nope, go to the office. No, seriously, I wasn't cheating. Just read it. Take the note and go to the office now. Jeez, lady's going a little crazy, huh? But this girl then goes to the office. So now she's walking through the hallways, carrying her backpack, while the teacher follows behind her. She grabbed a different faculty member to watch the class while she left. They get to the principal's office. Stacy, sit down. What's going on here? I caught her with a cheat sheet, cheating during our test. Go ahead. Hand him the piece of paper. The teacher looks at Stacy. Stacy looks at the principal. The principal looks at Stacy. Here, go ahead. Read the note. The principal takes the paper and reads it out loud. Eggs, bacon, window cleaner, popcorn, Cheez-Its. This is a dang grocery list. Yeah, I know. I'm going to the store after school for my mom. I wasn't cheating. You crazy teacher. Mrs. Johnson, are you serious right now? I could have. Is there somebody watching your class right now? Yes, Mrs. Carroll is. Good. Stacy, go back to class. We're having a chat. That's karma. They wanted a legendary senior prank. So they snuck to the football field at midnight with a gallon of chemicals. And their plan was to spell out the graduation year in big numbers across the field with these chemicals. So the grass would die and would spell out 2025. Guys, just wait till after the weekend. It's gonna look awesome. Best prank ever. When Monday came around, it worked. Their graduation year was spelled out. But apparently this field used specialized soil. The chemicals seeped into there and spread around. The damage was permanent. School brings in a contractor. I know you think it's just grass, but it's not just grass. It's a $10,000 repair. We have a game in 3 days. Well, fork it up. Now, the school actually wanted to be chill about this. They were just gonna give the kids community service and call it a day. But when the insurance company came, we aren't paying a dime for this unless you call the police and file a report for vandalism. That's just how it goes. So, in order to fix the field, the school had to make it official. They had to file a police report against these kids. They all got taken down to the station, and they got a court date. And yeah, that definitely ruined their graduation. The biggest loss of aura in school history. This kid built his whole reputation off of basketball. He wasn't on the team, but he would always say he was really good. He carried a basketball around with him everywhere. Hey, what's up, guys? At lunch or in class, whenever he was chilling, he would be spinning the ball on his finger. Yo, check this out. Cool, huh? And people did think it was cool. And he would always say, I don't want to be on the basketball team. Too much commitment. I just play in my backyard. Oh, okay. Yeah, the team is trash though anyway. Then the pep rally comes up. The principal goes, alrighty students, now it's time for the free throw challenge. Let's get somebody who's not on the team up here. See what you can do. And everybody volunteers this kid. Hey, come on, man. He'll do it. Yeah. He'll totally do it. The entire school knows him, so the entire gym is cheering so loudly. This kid gets up there. He's already got a basketball with him. Right. Takes his first shot. And he misses. Crowd's like, what? He brushes it off. It's a joke. It's a joke. Give me the ball. Misses again. And again. And again. He can't make one hoop. Now the cheers stopped. And the laughing began. Everyone's yelling at him, calling him a fraud, calling him a loser. Dude, you actually suck. He sucks. Kid begins crying. He was all talk. Forever. Everyone thought he was a basketball god. Turns out, he's trash. He runs out of the gym, and he never comes to school with a basketball ever again. He was a kid. His mom dragged him to the nearest 7-Eleven. I don't want to go. Well, that's too bad. Well, they get there. She goes in the store, but he waits outside. He then sees this older, strange-looking guy sitting against a wall. Hey. Hey, want to see something cool? And he's a kid, so he said yes. Of course he wants to see something cool, which you should never do. The man then smiles, and then pulls off a prosthetic leg and showed this kid his leg stump. Look at this. The leg stump had a very weird smiley face drawn on it in Sharpie. The kid absolutely freaks out. That's not cool. The man then panics because I guess he had good intentions. Oh, no, wait, look, it's actually cool, look. The kid's now ugly crying. The mom runs out of the store. What's going on? His leg. The man's embarrassed. The mom's freaking out at him. I don't know why he showed the kid his leg stump anyway, but she went home with her kid. And years later, when he sees a 7-Eleven, he freaks out a little bit still. These two 12-year-olds started a lemonade stand one summer, and at first it was basic, like they had the table, the sign, they were making lemonade, and people were buying it. They spent days perfecting the recipe. They were treating it like a chemistry project. But the thing is, the lemonade was incredible. Kids, this lemonade is incredible. People on their street loved it, but business began to slow down a lot. Then one of them goes, why are we selling this stuff to a cul-de-sac of 20 people when there's a whole downtown area? Good idea. Let's move shop. So one Saturday morning, they moved the entire operation downtown, middle of the town square. And now they're selling BLT sandwiches. And business was absolutely booming. They're making so much money. Word spreads fast. There's lines. They're selling out. At one point, a nearby cafe owner goes, "You're putting us out of business, guys!" And the kids take that as a compliment. Okay. But then the city gets involved. Because apparently, once you start having this sort of business in a public downtown area, you need a license. Health inspectors show up. These two kids are just standing there like, we're 12. Inspector's like, doesn't matter. And the city shuts the stand down immediately for not having permits or licenses. But the kids made so much money that they got over it pretty quick. These two best friends were next door neighbors. They decided they didn't want to walk around the fence to see each other anymore. So they were going to dig a secret underground tunnel connecting one yard to the other. They started by the shed. I'm digging. They spent 2 weeks while their parents were at work. They both thought they were geniuses. Bro, we're geniuses. Tell me about it. Shoveling, pickaxing, hauling dirt out in wheelbarrows. Well, they were about 6 feet deep and 10 feet across when one of the kids pickaxed something solid. What was that? I don't know. Keep going. They shouldn't have kept going. Instead, he hit this thing again and again and again until burst. Water spraying everywhere. Ah! Bro, this is so bad. It was the water main, the main pipe, and the backyard began to flood. They ran out of that hole. The water didn't stop either. It kept going. The fire department showed up. And then the city workers. And they're like, what the heck is going on here? We were trying to build a tunnel to each other's houses. Where are your parents? They're at work. For the rest of the summer, that kid's yard had to be dug up and they had to repair that pipe. His parents were obviously upset, but they kind of blamed themselves. How did we not know he was digging a tunnel in our backyard? Yeah, that was my question too. That's insane. Careful where you dig. Mr. Gene was a creepy teacher. Big guy, super weird energy, and he had bottles and bottles of Febreze behind his desk. And I guess he had a very strong nose as well, because he took it very personally when someone would come to class smelling bad. If he didn't like the way someone smelled, they would sit down and he would Febreze the air. Well, one day class started normally. He was teaching like normal.
The Industrial Revolution was one of the...
He locked eyes with this one kid. He didn't like what he smelled, so he grabbed the Febreze bottle. He marched right over to this kid. Can I help you? And Mr. Gene just sprayed over and over and over for like 15 seconds. This kid didn't know what to do, so he's just sitting there getting drenched in Febreze. Please stop. Turns around, goes to the front of the class, and begins teaching again like nothing happened. Crazy part is that teacher taught for another 5 years before he retired. I don't know how he wasn't fired. Dad, I hit 1,000 subscribers. That's nice, son. This kid was grinding on YouTube, and he's excited. A couple months later, Dad, I have 10,000 subscribers. Whoa, you're really putting in some work. And then, oh my God, 20,000 subscribers. Congrats, buddy. Fast forward a couple weeks, the school calls the dad. Hi, hello there. This is the middle school. Your son hasn't been in school for 3 days. What? He is ticked off. The son comes in later. Hey, what's up, Pops? Where were you? I was at school. No, you weren't. Yes, I was. Give me your phone. Go to your room. He goes to his room and slams the door. Well, that was the last straw for his dad. The dad sits there for a second, fuming. His son's laptop is in the living room, and it's open and unlocked. So he goes in there. He goes to the YouTube channel, and he deletes permanently the entire YouTube channel his son has been working on. He then goes to his son's room and knocks. What? I deleted your YouTube channel, by the way. That should teach you a major lesson. You're kidding. I'm not. Oh my God, you're the worst dad ever. I hate you. Full-blown meltdown. This kid is losing it. He's crying. The dad thinks, good, this is a lesson for him. Then later, something feels off to him, so he calls the school. Hey, yeah, I just wanted to touch base about my son's absences. You guys called me letting me know he missed the past 3 days of school, but the secretary's like, we didn't call you, sir, and your son's been here all week. He's got perfect attendance. What? That can't be true. So now he's scrolling the call log. The number that called him wasn't the school's number. And that's when everything unfolds. A couple of kids called him as a prank. His son was at school and he deleted his YouTube channel for nothing. But now he can't take it back. And his son didn't talk to him for months. The second he turned 18, he moved out. I'm gonna ruin your life. Why? There was this girl who was just super awful, always being mean to somebody, always starting rumors, and this one girl got it the worst. They were on the basketball team together and the softball team together, and this mean girl was always making stuff up about her. Kayla said she hates your coaching style. What? Kayla said she thinks you're the worst player on the team. She's the worst! And people were confronting her. The coaches punished her for this, and people on her team hated her. I didn't say any of those things! But nobody really believed her, and she knew who was behind this. Krista. Then sophomore year starts. Kayla has geometry class with Krista, and Krista starts becoming super friendly. Hey, what's up, Kayla? How you doing today? Fine. She sits next to her every day, laughing at all her jokes. You're hilarious. And then one day before class, Krista says, hey, can I please see your homework from last night? I didn't do mine. I'm gonna send a copy of your answers down really quick. And that's when it clicks. Krista's failing geometry, and she wants the answers. She wants to pass. So for a few weeks, Kayla lets her copy off her. Yeah, sure, that's totally fine. Then one day, Kayla realizes she's done. They had a really big important take-home exam that Krista didn't do, but Kayla knew she was going to ask for the answers, so she had 2 copies. The other one, she wrote everything down wrong on purpose, and when Krista asked for the answers, she let her copy the wrong one. What? Kayla, we failed! No, you failed. I got an A. Now that's karma. This teacher absolutely hated mayonnaise. It's the worst! Like, it was a phobia. One day the class is talking about things that they don't like. Kids are saying bugs, spiders, snakes. And the teacher says, well, mine is kind of weird. I hate mayonnaise. The smell makes me sick. Everybody laughs. Class moves on. Except the one kid becomes weirdly obsessed with this information. Mrs. Johnson hates mayonnaise, huh? The next day, he walks into that class carrying a full jar of mayonnaise. He sits down and just sets it right on his desk. Doesn't say a word. The teacher notices this, but she ignores it. She figures this kid's just trying to mess with me. I'm not even gonna put any energy into it. But then he does it again the next day, and the day after that. Every morning, that mayonnaise jar is just sitting on his desk right next to his notebook, staring at the teacher. Now, after days of completely ignoring this mayonnaise thing, teacher finally breaks. Okay, I have to ask, why do you keep bringing mayonnaise into my classroom? He looks up and in complete seriousness, he says, because one day, miss, I'm gonna drown you in mayonnaise. Now, the kid didn't actually end up drowning her in mayonnaise, but he did keep bringing that jar to school, and she kept having to look at it. It was there in that classroom every day for the rest of the year. This kid's dad freaked out. They're at the grocery store, shopping for their weekly groceries. Cereal, milk, frozen waffles, frozen pizza, lunch meat. Everything seems normal. Then they pull up to the aisle. They're at the cashier. He scans everything. All right, that'll be $125.64. The dad then goes into his pockets and pulls out this giant stack of coupons. Yeah, all right, here you go. Hands them to him super confident. The cashier starts scanning them. Beep, boop, beep, boop, bop, bop, beep. Then he goes, sir, every single one of these is like 9 years old. Everyone expired. Super expired. Scan him again. Okay. Beep, beep, boop, beep, beep, boop. The beeps obviously came from the machine, not his mouth. But this is a video. But he says again, yeah, no, they're all expired. Dad starts raising his voice in front of everybody at the store. His kid is with him. He's like, Dad, please settle down. We're in public. This is absolutely ridiculous. Doesn't make any sense at all. You know what? I'm leaving. He then starts to push the cart out of the store. Dad, we have to pay. I'm not paying for anything. Now the kid is standing there by the cashier. Cashier's watching the dad push the cart out and then looks at him. Yeah, this is gonna be a problem. Kid then does something that he never forgave his dad for. He pulled out his wallet and paid for the entire grocery haul with all the money he made that summer from mowing people's lawns. Here, this should cover it. He was saving up for a brand new bike. Worst part is, his dad never paid him back. That's messed up. This stepmom is evil. This happened when this kid was around 11 years old. You see, his dad had remarried a few years earlier, and things at home were weird, but he was trying to make it work. One day his stepmom goes, come on buddy, let's get some ice cream. And he's like, all right. To him, this feels nice. Maybe they're gonna bond. Maybe she's finally warming up to him. So they go get cones. They sit down inside the shop. He's eating his ice cream, thinking it's a normal day. She then sets her ice cream down, looks him in the face, and says, I think it's best if you go live with your mom full time. He's confused. But before he can answer, she says this. Nobody in our house loves you. The dude said he just sat there frozen. She keeps going. You take your dad's money. You smell. You ruin everything, and you make him choose you over me. She's saying this to an 11-year-old inside of an ice cream shop. Then when she's done laying into him, she stands up, walks out, gets in the car, and leaves him there at the ice cream shop crying. He said that moment changed him forever. No normal adult says that to a child. That woman is evil. When he was 10, his grandpa asked him, what do you want for your birthday? And he says, a brick. A brick? Why? Because my parents still have the super old TV. If I throw a brick at the TV, we'll have to get a new one. Oh, I'm just kidding. Maybe just some Pokemon cards or something. The grandpa just smiles and nods. A couple months later, this kid's birthday comes around, and there's a beautifully wrapped present on the table. Heavy. Perfect corners. The kid opens it. Inside was a single brick. The grandpa's losing it. You're crazy. I can't believe you remembered. And the grandpa leans in and says real quiet to him, wait till your mom's in the kitchen and then waste the TV. So the kid's mom goes into the kitchen to grab the cake. The kid takes the brick, smashes it in the TV. TV is destroyed. What happened here? Now we gotta get a new TV. Yes. The grandpa took the blame for throwing the brick at the TV. I don't know why I did that. Then the kid says, it's okay, Mom. Please don't be mad at Grandpa. I'll help you pick out the new TV. Okay, fine. You're right. It's okay, Pops. You'll be okay. Just sit down and relax. I'll clean this up. The mom then leaves to grab the broom. Nice work, kid. I love you, Grandpa. What a nice story. I don't feel good. Puke somewhere else. It's finals week, and the hallways are dead silent during class. Everyone's either taking tests or they're doing reviews. Well, on this particular day, this one kid had not felt good. His stomach feels weird. He's nauseous. By midday, he's pale, and he can't hold it in anymore. So he sprints out of the classroom to the bathroom. He turns the corner to the nearest bathroom, and the janitor cart is parked right there. One bathroom is locked, and the other one is blocked. I gotta throw up, he said. Throw up somewhere else, the janitor replies. He tries to slip past him. No, stay back. Now he's panicking, but he sees the garbage bag hanging off the janitor's cart, so he decides he's just gonna throw up in there. But the janitor says, shoo, get out of here. And that's it. Kid just steps back, looks at the floor in front of him, and pukes all over it. He then backs up a bit and pukes more. Now he's leaving this puke trail as he's stepping back. When he's done, he wipes his face and he looks at the janitor and says, well, looks like you're gonna have to clean that up, huh? And the janitor is mad. But there's nothing he can do because he's the one that refused this kid a safe, clean toilet to throw up in. So now that's what he gets. This bully got smoked. So there's this kid named Mateo. He's super nice, he's quiet, and he always walks around in these old beat-up New Balance shoes. And then there's Jackson, super loudmouth, and he wears these $600 limited edition Nikes that everyone compliments. Hey, yo, check the drip. Nice shoes, Jackson. Thanks. Now, normally, Mateo ignores Jackson because Jackson's constantly making fun of Mateo's shoes. But one day in gym, Mateo had enough. Jackson was like, Bro, you're still wearing those nasty ass crusty shoes? You're probably super poor, you freaking idiot. Everyone laughs. Mateo doesn't. Because here's the secret. Mateo is a walking sneaker encyclopedia. He can spot a pair of fake sneakers from a mile away. And nobody knew this about him. And Jackson, those $600 shoes, Mateo's known for months that those are fake. And he's kept quiet because he's a nice guy. Until now. When the class is doing laps around the gym, Mateo sneaks out and heads to the locker room. He opens Jackson's locker because, of course, he never locks it. And he walks out to the gym floor holding the shoes like evidence. Everybody, yo, dude, those are my shoes. Since y'all want to talk about my shoes, let's talk about Jackson's shoes. He pulls out his phone and he begins comparing pictures of fake shoes to the ones that Jackson has, and they line up. So this is a fake. Look at Jackson's. See that stitching? That's fake. Look at the logo. It's completely off. It's in the wrong font. Look at the sole of the shoe. Completely discolored. These are only worth $25. Everyone's like, what, dude? So you're a freaking fraud then, huh, Jackson? No, I mean, yes, I mean, no. Bro, you can't clown people for their shoes when you're wearing freaking replicas. I paid more for my New Balances than you did for those fakes. And from then on, nobody made fun of Mateo's shoes ever again. Man, yeah. Legend. At one high school, there was a kid who loved his cat more than anything. He'd had the cat since he was a little tyke. They grew up together. The cat slept at the end of the bed every single night. Well, eventually the cat got old and passed away. No! No. And the family buried it. Or at least that's what people thought. A few weeks later, this kid starts talking to his parents about taxidermy, which is when you stuff an animal to display on a wall or a mantle. You know, you've seen fish or deer. Well, his parents think he's joking at first, but after more conversations, they realize that he's dead serious. He was so attached to the cat, he couldn't part with it, so they actually had it preserved. Now here's where the story gets a little strange. There was one teacher at his school that he really looked up to. This teacher always encouraged him, always asked him how his cat was doing. So one morning he decides he's gonna bring his stuffed cat to school to show his teacher. He walks into school carrying a big box. The teacher smiles. Morning, miss. Hey, sweetie, how are you? I want to show you something. Oh, okay. What's in there? He sets the big box on her desk, opens the top, and pulls out the stuffed cat, hands it to her. Here. Oh my god! What is it? It's Mr. Whiskers. I had him stuffed. Oh, that's lovely. Now at this point, there were other students in the classroom as well, and they were horrified. Nobody knows what to say, and this kid's just standing there smiling like he did something good. And every day for the rest of that year, he carried around his stuffed cat, and people just let him. That's grief for you. You never know how someone's gonna handle it. Most kids start a lemonade stand to make some extra cash, but Dax was playing a much darker game. He opened a barber shop in his garage, and even though his fades were terrible, every kid was lining up for a $5 buzz cut. Step up, who's next? It was like the social event of the summer. Everybody was hanging out, listening to music, laughing at how bad the haircuts were. Bro, you look goofy. What? But Miles noticed something weird. After every haircut, Dax was picking up some of the hair and putting it in a Ziploc bag. Once the day was over, Dax had cut like 15 people's hair. Miles stuck around and asked him, bro, why were you putting your hair in bags? Hey, check this out. He brought him to a shelf, and on that shelf was hundreds of Ziploc bags. Each of them had hair in it, and each of them were labeled. This is Miles from August 12th. This one is Cooper from July 4th. Look at all of these. I had the genetic blueprint of the entire 8th grade right here, labeled and dated. Miles just laughed. Bro, you're weird. But Dax leaned in. Everybody thinks I'm a bad barber. Which is true, but they don't realize I got a much bigger plan. Next time someone does me dirty, steals my seat at lunch, makes fun of me, I'm gonna find a crime scene anywhere, and I'm gonna drop their hair right in the middle of it. What? Let's say Miles calls me a loser. Well, I hear sirens. I follow the sirens. A crime scene. There was a murder. Miles goes right on the floor. The police. Whose hair is this? They go to the computer. It's Miles. Miles goes to prison for murder. Bro, that is so messed up. And it was. And obviously, that really wouldn't work. But Miles made sure to stay Dax's friend. Just in case. You would hate for some of his hair to end up at a crime scene. The locker room at this one school was built on a limestone creek, but nobody cared about the foundation. One day, this kid named Mike was running late to gym class, and he was the only one in the locker room because everybody else was in the gym. He was sitting on a bench, tying his shoe. What is that noise? He hears a strange noise coming from the floor, so he stood up. and he felt the ground kind of dip. He realized the floor definitely didn't look right. So when he goes to the gym, he tells the PE teacher, "Coach, I think the floor in the locker room is moving and it made a loud noise." But the coach did not care. "Oh, you scared of the floorboards now, Mike? The floor isn't moving, you're going crazy." Now everyone's laughing at him. You know what, actually? Get down and give me 20 push-ups right now. So now, middle of the gym, everyone's standing around Mike as he's doing push-ups. Mike's afraid of the floor. Isn't that right, coach? Shut up, Billy. At the end of the push-ups, Mike stands up. The coach gives one last word. "So from now on, stop being so frickin' soft and get to gym on time." But right as he said that, a loud crash was heard throughout the entire school. They go to the locker room. "Oh, look, coach." The floor had collapsed. There was a 5-foot wide hole, and the lockers had fallen in it. It was a frickin' sinkhole. Mike was right. "I think Mike was right, coach. You got something to say to me, coach?" Yeah. "Everyone evacuate the locker room." And he never apologized to Mike. But it all started because the principal's toupee gets stolen during school. And within minutes, everybody knows, and everybody's joking about it. "Dude, Mr. Kilman looks so dumb." Kids were whispering in the hallways, even teachers were trying not to laugh. And whenever he walks down the hallway, people pull their phones out to record him. He's humiliated. He's trying to act normal, but he's falling apart like a sad little puppy. And for a second, you almost feel bad for him. But then you remember, yesterday he called you into his office. He thought you were involved in a fight that you weren't involved in. So you're in there, and he's just going in. Now, don't you lie to me. I know you were involved in this. You're a horrible student. I knew the second that you got here, you were gonna cause trouble. And I bet your grades suck, don't they? Let's look them up. You know what? I'm not gonna look them up. I'm just gonna send you home to your horrible mom. You know, she was in my class when I taught here years ago, and she was horrible then too. Get out of here. Pretty brutal. And here's one more thing. You know exactly where the toupee is because you saw the kid that stole it. He secretly hid it behind the trophy case. Nobody else knew. And that kid is definitely not coming forward, so now it's only you. You could grab it, hand it back to him, be the bigger man, and maybe the principal will treat you differently, or you could destroy the toupee and let him be humiliated for the rest of the day. What would you do? "Hey, nice haircut, Kyle. Did the lawnmower break halfway through?" "Oh, hey, Chad. Well, at least my hairline isn't running away faster than your dad did." "Oh, you think you're funny?" "Funnier than the fact that your new stepdaddy's the mailman." "Oh, that's it. You want to fight?" "Yeah, maybe I do." "Oh, yeah? Well, what are you going to do about it?" "I'm going to slap you so hard that they're going to feel it on the Richter scale." "What?" Sir, we have a problem." "What kind of problem, Johnson?" "There's just been a massive seismic event. No earthquakes, no explosions, but the sensors just spiked off the charts." "Where did it come from?" "A middle school cafeteria." Dear God. This kid roasted his teacher. So this one kid's school, there was this teacher who always tried to be the cool teacher, but ended up embarrassing himself a lot. You know, he would crack jokes, roast students, act like he was one of the kids. Most times, students just ignored it. But then one day, this happened. "Okay, class, we're going to start the review for the test on Friday, but I'll be sure to explain it slowly so Liam can understand it." "What?" "Oh, come on, man, you got to fight back. Hit me with something, show me your personality. Maybe then you'll pass the test." Liam just sighs, leans back in his chair and says, "All right, Mr. Thomas. You asked for it. Why don't you finally admit that this is not the life you wanted? Maybe that's why your wife left you, your kids hate you, and you're stuck here trying to impress a bunch of 14-year-olds, you mayonnaise-loving Get it together. I'm addicted to making money at school, and one morning, I had an idea. On my bike ride to school, I stopped into the local Target, and I bought a bunch of packs of socks. Then at school that day, I waited until it was gym class. I didn't go to class. Instead, when gym class was over, I waited outside the doors of the locker room, as the students came in to change into their normal clothes. Well, I cracked open the door a little bit, and I peeked. Once all of their shoes were off, and they were only in their socks, I poured a bucket of water on the floor, getting everybody's socks soaking wet. I got my brand new packet of socks, then I went in. "What's wrong, guys?" I don't know, man. A bunch of water came in here. All of our socks are soaking wet. This sucks. Oh, man, that's really unfortunate. I don't even know what I'm going to do now. This is going to suck for the rest of the day. I actually have brand new socks right here in this duffel bag. Thanks, dude. Yeah, I'll take some socks.
Yeah, me too.
And want some socks, too? Oh, not so fast, men. It's $2 per sock.
$2 for a pair of socks?
Oh, no. I think you heard me wrong. $2 per sock. $4 per pair.
Yeah, no, I'm not paying that.
Enjoy the rest of the day with your squishy sock feet. Wait. Here's 4. That's what I thought. Today's gonna be a good day. It was this kid's 3rd birthday party and he did not care at all. So he was turning 3 and his parents went all out. Huge backyard party, like 50 people. Family, friends, cousins, neighbors, everybody was there. Everyone was eating cake, baby. Playing games. Presents stacked up. The kind of party parents throw because they know their kids are going to remember it forever. So that morning they gave this kid one of his gifts early.
Here, sweetie.
It's a little plastic toy lawnmower.
Lawnmower. I like it.
The kind that clicks when you push it, and he loves it instantly. He won't put it down, and they're thinking, good, great, best gift ever. So the party starts, people show up, kids are running around, everyone's having a fantastic time. And meanwhile, the birthday boy isn't anywhere near everybody, because he's in the front yard, slowly mowing the lawn with his fake lawnmower. Just walking back and forth, pushing that little mower. He's completely locked in. And the party's happening in the backyard. Everyone's trying to get him involved. Like, hey, come on, buddy, come on, open some presents. Doesn't even respond. Just keeps mowing the lawn. Hey, bud, it's your Uncle Joey. Come on, let's have some cake. Doesn't care. Eventually, people just start laughing. Because this entire time, they're looking outside. This kid's just walking back and forth, mowing the lawn, could care less about his party. Then it comes time to sing happy birthday. They can't get him inside, so everyone else had to come out to the front yard and sing to him while he didn't listen and mowed the lawn instead. Actually, that's awesome. This kid came back from summer break like 4 inches taller. Hey, what's up, guys? And everybody noticed immediately. Bro, what happened to you? Yeah, you're like tall now. Then he just says, growth spurt. The thing is, he had been a short kid forever. So now he's walking different, he's feeling different. He's standing straighter, he's talking in class, making jokes. People are complimenting him constantly. And he's popular now. But then, a few months later, it's gym class. Everyone's playing kickball outside. And this kid is taking it seriously. He's talking trash. Nice shot, idiot. What's up? I'm gonna win. Well, he's up, and the ball gets rolled towards him. He takes one big kick, and his shoe flies off. Oh no. Now, that's not a big deal, but then he had to go get his shoe. At first, everyone's like laughing, like, your shoe fell off, no big deal. But as he begins to walk towards his shoe, they notice that he's limping. Yo, bro, why are you limping? You good?
Yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry.
I'll get my shoe. Wait, hold on. What the heck? Everyone runs over. They pin this dude down in the grass and they pull his other shoe off. Let me see this other shoe. What? Inside his shoes are these giant 4-inch height inserts, like full elevator platforms. These were the things that were making him taller.
I can explain.
Yeah, so can we. You're a loser. And the rest of the year after that, kids were brutal to him. Kind of feel bad, but you guys, doesn't matter how short or tall you are, just rock it. So at this one middle school, they had a rule that was no talking before class. The rule was, as soon as you stepped into the classroom, you had to be completely silent until the lesson started. No whispering, no greeting, nothing. Now, at first, this sounds kinda reasonable, right? Well, there was this one teacher that took this rule completely too far. In that class, one time, a kid sneezed and said, "Excuse me." He got a detention. Another kid dropped his pencil, his friend picked it up and said, "Here." That kid also got a detention. And one time, the teacher wasn't even in the room yet, and a kid coughed too loud that she heard it in the hallway. Boom, detention. And if the teacher walked in and somebody was actually having a full-blown conversation, they wouldn't just get in trouble, the entire class would. Like, I'm sorry, is this school or solitary confinement? That's messed up. Black markets kids ran in their schools, a subscriber submission. At this person's middle school, the lunchroom never served any sides with any of their meals. So if they were serving hot dogs, it was just a hot dog. Burgers, it was just the burgers. Pizza, just the pizza. Well, the kids at the school thought this was bogus. Every good lunch needs a side. So this guy had a brilliant idea. Every morning before school, he would heat up a bunch of French fries in his air fryer. And I'm talking a lot of French fries. He would then put them in an insulated pack so they stayed warm. And at lunch, he would sell them to other students. It was an immediate hit. Business was, you know what I'm going to say, booming. On average, he was making $100 a day. This went on for weeks. You can imagine how much money he was making. One day the school found out what he was doing, but they didn't shut it down. They were impressed, so they gave him his own stand to run during lunch, where he would sell the fries that he made. All in all, he had made over $10,000. Top 3 pettiest teachers. Number 3. There was a teacher that gave detention for somebody sneezing twice. The first time it was, bless you. The second time, okay, now you're just messing with me. Detention after school today. It was allergy season too, so for the rest of the week, these kids were fighting for their lives. Well, one day at the end of class, this teacher had a sneezing fit. All right, and oh, Miss Johnson, that's 3 sneezes. I guess that means you're suspended, huh? She never gave someone detention for sneezing again. Number 2, this one teacher, right before class started one day, moved the clock 10 minutes back. Just because she wanted to disappoint these kids when they started packing up at what they thought was the end of class. Alright, we got a couple minutes left. I'm so hyped for lunch. Why are you boys packing up? Oh, miss, we only got 2 minutes of class left. Somebody check their phone. What the heck? That's right, I tampered with the clock. We have 10 minutes. It's time for group reading. That's just diabolical. Number 1 pettiest teacher. There was a teacher who failed the kid for using blue ink on a test. The problem was, she was the same teacher that lent him the pen. So you see, a kid forgot one. He asked, yo, can I borrow something for the test? Sure, here you go. She gave him a blue pen. Well, you see, in the syllabus, she had a rule where you weren't allowed to take a test with a blue pen. It had to be black. So he finishes the test, hands it in, and gets a 0. That teacher just wanted him to fail. And that's messed up. This school prank lasted for 2 years. It all began at this high school when a single rubber duck appeared in the school's water fountain. And nobody thought much of it. It was just a random duck. Who cares? Until the next day, 2 ducks. Then 4, then 10. By the end of that week, there was rubber ducks appearing in every sink, every toilet, and even in students' lockers. Teachers were losing their minds. The principal, she was done. She kept saying on the intercom, whoever's responsible for the ducks, speak up now, please. Silence. Nobody confessed. So they gave up. They figured it would eventually sizzle out. But here's the thing, it never stopped. For 2 years, rubber ducks would randomly appear in the craziest of places. Ceiling tiles, inside the vending machines, somehow. One duck even appeared in the vice principal's car. It became a legend till this senior year. It was graduation. The principal was giving her speech when suddenly a banner dropped down. What was on the banner? A single rubber duck. This kid walked to the front of the stage and said, "It was me. It was always me." I was afraid to fall asleep in class, and this story is exactly why. This person starts by saying that Mr. Vance was a super chill teacher. What's up, class? Let's learn some history. He spent most of class leaning against the wall, talking about history like it was a bonfire story. Kids loved him. But he also kept a wooden paddle hanging on the wall, right next to the whiteboard. No, it wasn't for hitting students. Why'd he have the paddle, you ask? Well, it was for situations like this. One day, this kid named Tyler, he had pulled an all-nighter. He had tons of homework to finish, and no matter how hard he tried to stay awake, he couldn't. The teacher clocked it. He then stopped teaching, went to the paddle, and walked by this kid's desk. And the kids in Tyler's row knew the drill. They all got everything off their desks and they kind of scooted back. The teacher then took that paddle and as hard as he possibly could, he smacked it on the desk right next to Tyler. And it was so loud. And Tyler didn't just startle awake. He hopped about 5 feet in the air. The teacher then went right back to teaching. Hey, stay awake. All right, class. And boy, is that the worst. Now, my teachers didn't have a paddle, but they would just take their hand and I would never sleep. Every school has that one kid who is super talented at something random. At this one school, his name was Marcus, and he was amazing at flipping water bottles, but not the normal way. He was able to flip these water bottles and have them land on their cap on crazy surfaces, like the edge of a chalkboard. Watch this. Nice. He made it look so effortless that this one kid in his class wanted to try it for himself. It was study hall, very quiet, and he's sitting there. He's got a half-empty Gatorade bottle, and he's thinking to himself, this is my chance. I'm gonna flip this bottle, land it on its cap on the teacher's desk. You see, Marcus was in this study hall as well. Oh, this kid went for it, gave it a flip. Marcus is gonna be so impressed. Here we go. It was like slow motion. Flip, flip, flip. But suddenly, the cap fell off. He didn't tighten it enough. And this Gatorade just spills all over the teacher's desk.
What the heck is your problem?
He panicked. Marcus did it, Marcus said. But no, I didn't, bro. The teacher said, yeah, I don't believe that. Marcus is a god at flipping bottles. Teacher knew how good Marcus was. He didn't believe this kid for a second. I'll take myself to the office. Yeah, that's a good idea. Tough break. This kid's not all there.
I'm thirsty.
But he wanted to focus really hard on this spelling test. He didn't want to be distracted by taking a sip of water or asking to go get some. So this is his brilliant idea. He went to the water fountain before class. He got a very big gulp of water and left it in his mouth. He heard that this is what the squirrels do. They put nuts in their mouth and they save them for later. Well, that was his idea, but with water. So now he's sitting in class. The teacher's naming the words, and he's writing the spelling down with a bunch of water in his mouth.
All right, class, your next word is fortitude.
His plan was to take small, tiny gulps throughout the test, so he never went thirsty. Well, about 2 minutes into the test, his cheeks give way, and a bunch of water just falls right on his desk. The test and the desk were soaked. Water was now spilling on the floor, and other kids noticed. The teacher walks over. Why is there a bunch of water on your desk and the floor? The kid didn't know how to respond, so he just looks her in the eyes and said, I have no idea. The teacher was so confused by that answer that she just walked away. No more questions were asked. He failed that spelling test. What? She made her students come in on Saturdays. This 10th grade teacher, Mrs. Hayes, spent 6 months trying to make it mandatory for students to come in on Saturdays. But the principal, it's a weekend, Hayes. You can't force kids to come in. Mrs. Hayes didn't argue much. She just smiled and went on her way. But she spent the next 3 weeks building a secret final exam. Friday afternoon, 3 p.m., the entire class gets an email. Saturday session. Not required, but encouraged. About a quarter of the students showed up. The rest of the class didn't because, well, it was a Saturday. Good morning, scholars. I'm about to share with you something exclusive. She then taught what was going to be on next week's exam. But then she passed out a packet. A cipher code. A code that would directly relate to how the students filled out the test. And if you didn't have this code, you would fail the test. Well, Monday comes around and she passes out this 50-page packet. And it looks like it was written in Egyptian. Miss, I can't read this. The translation guide was provided during our Saturday session. You have 45 minutes to complete the exam. Absolutely insane. She gave students a key code on that Saturday to a test that she wrote in her own made-up language to trick the other students. That's nuts. The parents rioted, the principal got involved, but somehow she didn't get in trouble at all. Mrs. Hayes, hey listen, the Saturday session was optional, but I can still make the test whenever I want, right? And I guess she was right. That's crazy. This is what happens when your math teacher sucks. This guy's kid is in 4th grade, and she's been having trouble in math. The whole year she's struggled, but when they got to multiplication and division, she struggled even more. I just don't understand it, Dad. I know, let's just try it again. The thing is, she just doesn't understand the method they're teaching, and it doesn't sound easy. So for multiplying, it's a bunch of steps. You break up the numbers, you draw boxes, then you multiply and then add them together. Something like that. And she gets these problems wrong like 90% of the time. So the dad's like, you know what? I'm gonna teach you the way that I learned how to do multiplication. She's like, okay. And guess what? Oh, Dad, I understand it. She under-frickin-stands it. Homework is a million times easier now because she learned it and she's actually solving the problems. Well, here's the issue. His daughter had a math test a few weeks ago, and she came home very upset.
Dad, I failed.
What? Let me see your test. She got a 50%, even though she only got 2 problems wrong. Technically, it should have been a 92%. So he goes into school and he has a conversation with the teacher. Can you explain why my daughter failed? The teacher says, yes, it's because she didn't use the method that I taught in this class. Excuse me? The dad pointed out that the test just says to show you work. It doesn't say to use a specific method. But she said, well, that's too bad. I taught my method to these students for a reason. Your daughter didn't use it. So she fails. Oh, the dad was furious. He went to the principal. He admits that he made it a pretty big deal. What are you guys teaching in the school, huh? Some bogus way to do multiplication? It's so much easier than that. Now my daughter's failing even though she got a 92% on the test. Except with a lot more yelling. The principal called the teacher in and forced her to change the girl's grade to an A. The principal then apologized to the dad and said,
it won't happen again.
Better not. But for real, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. This kid in band was obsessed with yo mama jokes. Yo mama so squiggly, she squiggle on me. And he would say them every day. Yo mama so old, she pre-ordered the Bible. Yo mama so ugly, not even goldfish crackers smile back. Then a hurricane happened. Schools closed for a while, and everybody comes back. Everyone's talking about it, seeing who lost power, who's got flooding, all that stuff. Band class starts up again. The teacher's getting everybody settled in. All right, class, settle down, settle down. I'm glad to see all of you are well. Well, then this kid walks in, the Yo Mama kid. He's got the biggest smile on his face. The whole class can see what's coming. The teacher asks, Kevin, how you doing, buddy? The kid goes, Yo Mama. And before he could even finish, the teacher cuts him off without missing a beat. He says, died in the hurricane.
I'm so sorry.
Silence. You could hear a pin drop. Yeah, the teacher's mom passed away during the hurricane. The kid's just sitting there, shocked. He quietly turns around, walks back to his seat, sits down. And according to every single person in that room, the Yo Mama joke kid never made a Yo Mama joke ever again. This kid goes to the arcade one weekend and finds something sitting on the carpet right next to one of the machines. It's a key. At first, he thinks it's just a random key, but then he realized it looked a little different, so he tries it in one of the machines. It works! The machine opens to the area where it keeps all of its tickets, and it works on every single machine in the arcade. So now he realizes, I have so much power, but I better be careful. Now this is the town arcade that all of the kids go to. And the prizes that arcade gives out for tickets are these unique prizes that you can't find anywhere else. So what he does is he plays it safe by slowly stealing tickets little by little until he has a giant amount. He would then take these tickets to school. Look what I have. Is this for the town arcade? Dude, give me some. What do you got? And he's trading these tickets for basically everything. Lunch, desserts, homework answers. One kid traded him a pair of barely worn Jordans. Here, have them right off my feet. Oh, this gets you a bunch of tickets. Here. Now, eventually, the arcade catches on because these kids kept coming in and redeeming tickets, although they never even played a single game there.
Boss, something's weird here.
The managers are confused, and the machines get checked. And after that, the key didn't work anymore. But by that point, this kid had so much random stuff that he was fine with it. I regret nothing. Legendary barter system. A $3,000 earring just sank to the bottom of a swimming pool. It was a July heat wave. The water at the public pool was cloudy. The deep end was super deep. Even the lifeguards were afraid. And at the bottom of the pool was now this girl's very expensive earring.
Somebody help me, somebody help me.
That's when everybody turned to this kid who was sitting in a chair playing with a ladybug.
Do something. Do something, Bug.
You see, they called this kid Gills, because every day in the summer he would play in pool water, and he would drink it. Don't ask him, dude, he's super weird. Yeah, but bro, if somebody could do it, it's Gills. Gills never used goggles. He said he could sense his surroundings through his fingertips. So they asked him, hey Gills,
Yeah, bro.
we need your help, man. That girl lost a $3,000 earring. It's at the bottom of the deep end. And Gills did not hesitate.
I'm on it.
He dives right in. 1 minute passed. Then 2. The snack bar worker paused the music. The crowd went dead silent. Everyone was waiting for Gills' lifeless body to float to the surface. When suddenly, a hand comes right out of the water, holding the earring.
Oh my god.
Here's your earring. I also found a hot dog down there. Free food. He ate the hot dog and sat back down with the ladybug. That day, the nickname Gills stopped being an insult. He was kind of a legend. And it all started because this kid ran a crazy summer hustle. His neighbor's name was Mr. Henderson.
I'm Mr. Henderson.
And he had just left for a 2-week camping trip, but he left his in-ground pool unattended. Most kids would sneak over for a quick dip, but this guy had a different idea. He turned his neighbor's backyard into a literal water park, and he charged every kid on the block $5 for a day pass. Step right up, water park day pass is $5. And people were paying. It was immediately a full-blown operation. There was a cooler full of sodas, there were folding chairs everywhere, and the front yard was a pile of bikes. And these two guys were by the gate, collecting $5 bills. On day 4, the party was at its peak. 15 kids in the backyard, cannonballs, Marco Polo. Some dude fired up Mr. Henderson's grill and was making hot dogs. Then, Mr. Henderson shows up.
What in God's name is going on back here?
You see, obviously, one of the other neighbors called Mr. Henderson to let him know what was going on, so he came back from his trip super early. That guard was dead silent. But what Mr. Henderson did, nobody expected. You, come here.
Yes.
Listen, I'm going back camping, okay? You can stay here as long as you clean up every day, and by the time I get back, it needs to be spotless. You understand? Oh, yeah. Stay out of my house, too, but have fun. And that was that. For the rest of the 2 weeks, those kids had the most fun they've ever had on a summer break. And yeah, that sounds awesome. This kid exposed his own teacher, but then it backfired. Let's call this kid Jake. And recently, Jake had been noticing something strange. The star quarterback, let's call him Ryan, never studied, never did his homework, but he managed to get perfect scores on every test. Well, one day, Jake was staying after class a little bit to ask the teacher a question. When he noticed something, the teacher hands Ryan a piece of paper and says, "Memorize these." That's when Jake realizes the teacher is giving him the answers to the test. Well, he thought. No wonder he keeps getting perfect scores. The teacher is helping him cheat. The teacher's helping him remain on the football team. Instead of snitching, Jake gets smart. He starts watching Ryan, catches him in the library, memorizing stuff from the exact paper the teacher gave him. Jake slowly walks behind Ryan and secretly takes a picture of the paper. Then on test day, he takes a picture of his test. The answer sheet that Ryan was memorizing matches exactly to the test they received. He got it. Proof. The teacher and Ryan were caught. Well, instead of turning this into the principal or whatever, he showed the teacher. He blackmailed her. Hey, yeah, see this? Look familiar? And see this? That's our test from today. The exact same. I know what you're doing. Oh my God. Well, no. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to start giving me the answers to every test. Or I'm taking these pictures and I'm telling the school board and you're fired. Okay. That's blackmail, baby. Now Jake starts getting perfect scores on every single test. But this all came crumbling down. Apparently, another student in the class had stayed behind and heard Jake tell the teacher this. That student went to the principal. What happened? Well, the teacher was fired, Ryan was benched and never played football again, and Jake, he got suspended. Nobody liked this teacher. She was constantly promising things and never following through. Usually about animals. Class tomorrow, I'm having a zookeeper bring in an aardvark. The class would cheer, but it would never happen. Class tomorrow, I'm having the zookeeper bring in a boa constrictor. Class would cheer. Guess what? Never would happen. She would also lie about field trips, movie days. She was the worst. Every few weeks, she would get everyone excited about stuff and then just not follow through. By the end of the year, the class was completely over it. They find out she's retiring. It's the last week of school, and some kid comes up with an idea. You see, my mom works at a candy store, and he said that candy store sold these colorful candies that look just like rocks. His mom made them. But here's what they did. The mom was willing to help get back at this teacher. But instead of the colorful candy chocolate, she dipped actual rocks in the candy coating. So they looked exactly the same as the real ones, except instead of chocolate, there was rocks. The class puts together this giant box, everything, and they put it on her desk. Here, teach! Have them, enjoy! And because she's the way she is, of course, she's honored. Oh wow, is it because I'm such a great teacher? You know what, I'm not gonna share these, but I will have one right now. And they're watching her. She's going to put this candy in her mouth. She does. Then she bites down. Immediately, tooth cracked. The teacher spits it into her hand and looks at it. It's a rock, and she's ticked off. They eventually find out who did it, and he was expelled. But obviously his mom wasn't mad because she's the one that helped him. But hey, that teacher sounded horrible. She deserved it. It's the first day of a new semester, and this teacher is having everybody in class give a personal story, one by one. And they had 10 minutes to think of one. Then each student comes up to give their 3-minute introduction speech. Normal stuff, but obviously people are panicking. But they came up with their stories, like summer jobs, broken bones, embarrassing vacations. Well, one girl instantly raises her hand. I'll go first. Okay, I like your enthusiasm. Get on up here. She's confident and she is smiling. She walks to the front of the classroom. She starts talking about how her parents owned a retiring home, how they worked hard and built their business from the ground up. She said how the retirement home had these huge aquariums in the lobby filled with fish. The whole room's nodding. Oh, that's sweet. This is a nice story. But then she says, yeah, me and my brother got bored one day, so we smashed the aquarium glass. People looked up like, what? Grabbed a fork from the kitchen. The teacher's like, and stabbed each fish one by one. The class is horrified. She then smiles and says, so yeah, that's my story. Nobody clapped, the teacher had no idea what to say, and nobody talked to her for the rest of the year. Yeah, I wouldn't either. She sounds insane. Every neighborhood has that one house, yard where baseballs, frisbees, and dog toys go to die. The guy who lived there is creepy, angry, staring through the windows. Hey, go get the ball.
let's just go inside.
Just like that, most kids accept the loss and they go buy a new one. But this one kid, he saw a gap in the market. What's up? He memorized the perimeter of this fenced yard. He knew the holes, the gaps, and he bought a very long pole. He has a 10-foot pole with a high grip claw at the end of it, and he started an extraction service. He pulls up with his bike and the pole like it's a jousting stick. All right, what is it? Baseball? Frisbee?
It's my dog's favorite beaver toy.
Okay, do you know where it is?
No.
That's fine, I'll use my drone. He had a drone with a camera so he could see above the yard to where the thing that needs to be extracted is, and then he would get to work. Okay, it's at this corner right here. I have the pole. Go through the gap. Is he watching?
No.
Got it. But he didn't do it for free. Depending on where in the yard it was, it could be $5, $10, or if the old man was right there watching, $20 because of the risk. But people usually paid. He didn't make bank per se, but he made some good money, and he was a hero to a lot of neighborhood kids. One month he made $100 just by getting things that people were too scared to get themselves. I'd say it's a fair business because there's no way the old man would ever give those things back because he's just crazy like that. And so I say, gotta respect the hustle. This school banned caffeine, but the no caffeine policy was failing. Every trash can was a graveyard for energy drink cans. But there were too many kids blatantly not following the no caffeine rule, so they couldn't punish everybody. So the next Monday morning, the dean announced that they have installed molecular sensors in the HVAC vents. And don't bother with Gatorade cans or cups. These sensors pick up the scents of taurine, caffeine, so if you crack a can, we will know. Now, obviously the dean was lying. That's not a thing. And a lot of kids knew that, but some kids were super gullible, so this worked for a few days. The hallways were silent and the bins were empty. No mountain of cans. But the students, they figured out how to blind the sensors. Now, this big group of students weren't the smartest, but here's what they came up with. Every time a student opened an energy drink or was sipping caffeine, 4 others would blast the nearest vent with Axe body spray. Cracking now? Spray, boys, spray! They figured if you overloaded the sensors with fragrance, they wouldn't catch the scent of caffeine. Now, like I said, the sensors were a lie, but now there was a real issue with school air quality. Halfway through the day, there was so much Axe body spray filtering through all the vents that it was unbreathable. They had to evacuate the school. Students, everybody please evacuate the building. We have a major air quality issue.
God, this is ridiculous.
The school was shut down for 48 hours. Now, this was at some school in a small town, so I guess that makes a bit more sense. But still, that's nuts. This kid's a diabolical genius. There was this kid at one school named Theo, and he had a connect at the front office. Bada bing, bada booty.
What?
Now, his school's lost and found was always stacked. People lose stuff constantly. Phones, AirPods, expensive jackets, you name it. So, come here. Here's how it worked. His friend at the office would text him whenever something good came in. Theo would swing by, take whatever it was, and just walk out with it. Nobody questioned it because he was always hanging around the office anyway. But here's the genius part. His connect at the office, the person that let him know when stuff came in, would let him know when someone came in looking for their stuff. Oh, you lost some AirPods? Yeah, I can't find them anywhere. Okay, one sec. He would then text his friend. His connect would let him know the person's name. Theo would then find them in the hallway. Hey, I hear you're looking for your AirPods. Oh my god, yeah, thanks. I found them. Okay, what? Give me $40 if you want them back. And he would charge these people if they wanted their stuff back. Not the full price, obviously. Now, Theo was pretty savage. People didn't want to mess with him, and they were so desperate to get their stuff back that they paid. If you go to the principal, I'm gonna beat you up. They paid up every single time. He did that the entire school year. Made over $1,000. The school eventually figured out what he did and this kid was expelled. But by then he had already made his money and he wasn't gonna give it back. Now I normally would say, hey, gotta respect the hustle. But this one's a little shady. What do you think? Meet Johnny. Johnny thought he was the smartest kid in the 7th grade. He spent all Monday night practicing his fake stomach pains. Ooh, something kinda hurts. Hope I'm not getting sick.
I hope you feel better, sweetie.
Well, it works, because on Tuesday morning, his mom fell for it.
Oh, Mom, the pain is worse.
Oh, my poor baby. Well, I'm heading to work. I'll call you into school. Stay home. Get some rest.
Okay.
He felt like he pulled off the heist of a century. Spent all day playing video games, thinking to himself, my friends are probably so jealous of me right now. Well, the next morning, he goes back to school. walks in like a king. "What's up, guys?" The second he gets into the building, he stops. The floors look extra shiny. Everyone's huddled in different groups, watching a video on their phone. He sees his friends. "Yo, what's up?" His friend says, "Bro, you picked the worst day to be sick." Apparently, during third period the day before, there was supposed to be a routine fire drill. But it wasn't just the alarm that went off. Something malfunctioned, and the sprinklers in the main hallway went off. We're talking gallons and gallons and gallons of water hitting those floors. One kid even took the bathroom soap and sprayed it on the floors as the sprinklers were coming down. Slip and slide! The best part was, it was 100 degrees outside, so this felt awesome. Teachers were sliding, the principal slipped, the weird kid from class used a lunch tray as a boogie board. Everybody went home soaking wet, but they said it was the best day of school ever, and that's all anyone talked about for years. There was Johnny. Oh, that sounds fun. It was amazing. Hope you're feeling better, by the way. Oof. Tough break. This kid's a legend. So at this one high school, there was one kid that somehow managed to bring a whole rotisserie chicken to lunch every single day. Now, I'm not talking about some lunchbox-sized meal. Oh no. I'm talking about a full-sized grocery store rotisserie chicken. And he wouldn't sit down and eat it with a fork and a knife. He would eat it like an absolute caveman. He would crack his knuckles and just start going to town, tearing that chicken apart with his bare hands. You know, at first, people ignored it because they thought maybe this was just a one-time thing. But then he kept doing it every single day. Well, I guess this was an issue for some people because then the school took notice and teachers tried to stop him, but technically he wasn't breaking any rules. There wasn't a no eating a whole chicken at lunch rule in the handbook because, it got to a point where the principal literally begged this kid to stop doing it because it was making everybody uncomfortable. The kid just looked at him in the eye, took a bite of his chicken and said, "What are you gonna do? Suspend me for eating lunch?" And honestly, respect. Nothing is worse than being grounded in the last week of summer. Ryan's entire friend group had been together since kindergarten, but tomorrow, more than half of them were going to a different high school, so they were going to be split up. And this night was their last hurrah. It was the goodbye. But Ryan's mom didn't care about this. She cared that Ryan forgot to take the trash out on Wednesday. "I don't care if it's an end of an era, Ryan. You showed lack of responsibility. You are not going to that bonfire." The bonfire was the event, across town at one of the buddies' houses. So that night, Ryan sat at his window, watching the group chat blow up with pictures of s'mores, the bonfire, smiling and laughing faces. It was the night his childhood was ending. He thought it was over, until he hears people talking outside of his house. Huh? What? He looks out and he sees Cam and his entire group of friends pulling lawn chairs out of Cam's dad's truck. "All right, guys, grab them all. I got mine." "Yeah, me too." They set up a portable grill in Ryan's driveway. They all sat around it, and they began roasting marshmallows. "What are you guys doing? If you can't come to the fire, we're bringing the fire to you." So Ryan goes down there, and he joins them. Not long after, his mom comes out, and she's angry. But just as she's about to snap, a minivan pulls up, and one of the kid's parents comes out. They're not there to pick up the kid. They're there to join. "Oh, hey, Carla. Steven said that you were having a bonfire in the driveway. We're here to join you." So, to not look like a horrible mother, she just said, yeah, grab a seat. I'll go get some drinks for us." And just like that, 10 kids, 6 parents, and a golden retriever all hanging out in her driveway. And she realized she wasn't just about to be a strict mom. She was about to be the person that ruined these kids' summer. The last one they'll get like this. The night ended, the kids said their goodbyes, they went their separate ways. And that just proves it. When the group is strong enough, not even the grounding of the century could stop the party. This teacher was the strictest in the school. No phones, no talking, and absolutely no food. But then one morning, before class, she saw a single flaming hot Cheeto perfectly taped to the middle of her desk. What is this? She peeled the snack off, put it in the garbage, and monitored the room incredibly well that day. Nobody came forward. The next day, another Cheeto, taped with a single piece of Scotch tape on the pencil sharpener. Another one. The next day, another one taped to the back of her chair. The day after that, it was taped to her escape key on her keyboard. What is going on? She had no idea who was doing this, and it was messing with her badly. So she went to the school principal and the people in charge. And they're like, "Okay, settle down, it's just Cheeto, but I'll make an announcement." The principal was young and new, and he was about to make a major mistake. "Good morning, students. Whoever keeps taping single hot Cheetos to things in Mrs. Gable's room, please stop." Uh-oh. He made that announcement to a middle school. What happened next? Dozens of students thought it was hilarious and started doing the exact same thing. There was flamin' hot Cheetos taped everywhere. Library books, school trophy case, the gym scoreboard. So the school tried to kill this joke for Mrs. Gable, but instead they accidentally started a cult, the taped hot Cheeto cult. And there was nothing they could do about it. The only thing that kills a trend is time. And it took some time.
আমি না হয় আঙ্কেলকে ফোন দিয়ে বলি যে আমার আপনাকে পছন্দ হয়নি, আপনি যেভাবে বলবেন আমি সেভাবে করে দিচ্ছি।
করো না, আমার হচ্ছে গিয়ে জুতা চুরি করে ফেলছে। হ্যাঁ, খালি পায়ে ঠোসা পড়তেছে, আমার অনেক মারে, আমাকে মেজে ফেলবে। আমি তো পাগল না, আমি বুঝাইছি। হ্যালো ব্রাদার, সিগারেট।
ময়লা ময়লা চুল আরাম হবে, আরাম লাগে।
চুলে শ্যাম্পু,
চুলের শ্যাম্পু, একটু পানি দিয়ে নেই।
বগলের চুল।
জি হ্যালো, আসসালামু আলাইকুম ডক্টর, আমি জুই বলছিলাম। জি ভালো আছি। আচ্ছা, আমাকে একটু আদনানের ব্যাপারটা একটু ক্লিয়ার করে বলা যাবে কি? কোনো কি উপায় নেই?
যখন টাকা হবে তখন নিয়ে যাবো, তারপর সেই জাহাজ নামাবো কোথায় জানো? সমুদ্রে। ইসম, আমি পাগল না, আমি এটা খেলে কিছু আমাকে মারবা?
না, তুমি তো খাচ্ছ, আমি কি তোমাকে মারতেছি?
কবিগুরু রবীন্দ্রনাথ ঠাকুর বলেছেন, সব ষড়যন্ত্র এই মির্জাফরের।
বাবা বারবার বলতেছে কারা জানি ওকে মারছে, একটু সাহস হয়েছে নাকি?
জানি না।
জানি না মানে? আমি তো ভাবলাম একটু একটু বেড়েছে, তা না হলে এখানে ডাকলে।
ও সরি, আমি আমার কাকে কি বলি? তুমি তো আমার 1,00,000 টাকা বেতনের চাকরিই করো না, তুমি কি হয়ে দিবা?
আমি বুঝি আমার মেয়ের সিকিউরিটি। শোনো, তোমাকে 15 লাখ টাকাই দিতে হবে একটা। কিন্তু আমি এখানে এক মুহূর্ত আর থাকবো না, আমার এখানে দম বন্ধ হয়ে মারা যাবো আমি।
শৈলী রাতে বাড়িতে চলে এসেছে, তাছাড়া
তুমি যাচ্ছ বিপরীতে, আবেগ বাড়ছে বহু।
ভাই আজকে না ভাই, বুঝছেন কাজের চাপ বেশি আর বাসায় ফিরতে হবে। সিঙ্গেল মোড
মানে পরিচিত কোনো আদার্স ভালো অপশন যদি থাকে সেখানেও আমাকে একটু রেফার করেন।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, তুমি প্যারা নিও না।
ওইভাবেই বাবার সাথে কথা বলবো। এখন তুমি কি বলো বলো, কিন্তু এখন আমাদের একটা সুস্থ জীবনে ফিরে আসা উচিত, একটা নর্মাল লাইফ লিড করা উচিত।
না হলে না হবে, আমার কোনো প্যারা নাই তো। আরে চাকরিটা
আর কত বলবো তোরে? শোনো মা, প্রোগ্রাম আছে, ওটা শেষ করেই আসবে, আমাকে বলেছে, কথা হয়েছে।
আর আসছে যেমন ছেলে।
হ্যাঁ বাবা।
একটা ভালোবাসাকে, একটা সম্পর্ককে। আমার আসলে দুটো নারী থেকে একটা নারীকে বেছে নিতে হয়েছে।
যেখানে কোনো সম্ভাবনা নেই সেখানে আপনার জীবন জড়িয়ে নষ্ট করে কী লাভ?
আমার একটা মা আছে, হ্যাঁ, মার কোলের ভিতরে তো বসে থাকি, দায়িত্ব অনেক। তোর তো কিছুই ঠিক নাই, তুই আমার সাথে আয় তো আয়। আমার সাথে আয় না। এক মিনিট এক মিনিট এক মিনিট এক মিনিট এক মিনিট এক মিনিট আপনার একটা মাস্টার্স কোর্স করতে হবে। Why? What is this, man?
আমি চাই তুমি ভালো থাকো। আর শোনো, যে জাহাজটা যদি সত্যি সত্যি বানাও তাহলে আমাদেরকে ইনভাইট করো, হ্যাঁ?
তুমি সারাক্ষণ সমুদ্রের সাথে ফিসফিস করে কথা বলবে আর আমি হিংসে করব। আমার হয়তো একটু সাহস বেড়েছে। বোকা ছেলেটা প্রেমে পড়েছে। আর বিড়ি নিয়ে গেছে, বিড়ির প্যাকেট একটাও ছাড়ে নাই, সবগুলো দুমড়ে মুচড়ে বের হয়ে চলে গেছে। খাবো কি?